All right, guys, today we're going to talk about using your pocket rocket or your super small concealed carry. And I know some people want to carry a full size all the time. In some cases, it's not really feasible, right? So in this case, you know, my little pocket rocket is the Ruger LCP. I have a clip on it. I believe that's from Kel-Tec, that basically comes through here and allows you to carry your pistol almost like you would with a pocket knife. So not my go-to choice, but the reality of living here in Florida and hotter weathers, today's a cool day, but typically, you know, if you're living in environments where it's hot temperatures and maybe you're wearing board shorts or athletic shorts, or in this case sweatpants, and you don't have a belt to hold the weight of a full-size pistol or even a mid-size pistol, to be able to implement some of those concealed carry holsters that you need a belt to run through, or even if you had the ones with clips, like sometimes it'll pull your pants down with the weight of it. So in some cases, a pistol is better than no pistol. But then again, a lot of us neglect training on our concealed carry pistols. I run tons and tons of classes. I've trained thousands of people, and most of the time people come out with their shooting belts. Like if I'm looking around to the people who have their shooting belts on, right, and they have their full-size pistols on a outside the waistband setup, like they're going to go do assaulting or whatever, which is fine. It's all good. But how many of us really put in the reps with our concealed carry pistol, the one we carry daily, the one that's basically maybe not so fun to shoot because we can't shoot it as fast? But then again, like, that's the whole reason why we should be shooting, and I'm guilty of this too. That's why I'm making the video, right? So today, again, we're going to look at the LCP. This little guy, I don't know what your small concealed carry is. This is mine, right? Another thing we're going to do here while we're working with this is we're going to try different ammo. There's a lot of people who will just go get ammo like these hollow points for their carry, but they're expensive, so they don't want to shoot with them, right? I highly suggest running at least 50 to 100 rounds of your concealed carry rounds to make sure that they actually function well through your pistol. I had a similar pistol to this previously, and I had to run plus P to get it to cycle, even though it recommended that you don't run plus P because it's a little harsh on the gun. All the other ammo, it wouldn't cycle. So I had to run a plus P. So you want to know what's going to work. I got some regular, just Norma range target rounds. And I also have some frangible rounds, which allow us to train up close on steel if we want to do some drills. So again, we'll test these different ammos out, see what works, see what doesn't. But again, right now we're just shy of 25 yards. Standing here, we're at like 22, 23 yards away. Is this really the range that I want to be running my LCP at? Probably not. But should I be able to hit the target from here? I would hope so. You know what I mean? So we got to put in those reps and see realistically what is my accuracy that I can achieve. Realistically, how fast can I actually access and draw the pistol that's this small the way I'm carrying it? These are the things that you can continue to push the limits with and continue to get better and better and better with, right, with time and repetition. But it's always good to come in and give yourself a reality check of where am I right now, so that way you can have the right expectation to make the right decisions. If you find yourself in a critical situation where you do need to use your concealed carry pistol, you know what your expectation is and what your competency level is or your proficiency level is, so that way you time things at the right time or take the right opportunity, right, to make sure that you're not gauging off of your outside the waistband full-size pistol versus your small concealed carry. Cool? So let's do a couple shooting drills. We'll see where we're at. All right, so we're here at the roughly 25-yard line. We're on the Infinity targets. It's like a rubber resealing target, and it's reactionary. We'll be able to see where the hits are, and then we'll clean it up. But again, so we'll just do one mag. We'll just see where we're at. So again, I should be able to still shoot accurate, and then we'll find out where that distance is or where we're at, so that way we can gauge what our proficiency is as far as if we actually had to implement our concealed carry pistol. So we're here. All right, let's go check it out. So out of the 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, this one's on the line, right? 5, 6, 7 on the edge. That's probably my trigger squeeze. If you look at a pistol like this, it doesn't really have sights. It has a little groove where you're trying to put that little nub, we'll call it a front sight post, in that groove, right? And the trigger squeeze is really, really long. So if you look at this, the trigger squeeze comes all the way to the back. That's a super long trigger squeeze. That's part of the fact of like their safety mechanism of this sitting out freely, right? Is that it's a super long trigger squeeze and it's a really heavy trigger squeeze. So in that, some of these could just be a 2 shots ahead of shit trigger squeeze, more so probably than the sight alignment. But the other thing too is these little pistols, to get a grip is really hard because you're only getting 2 fingers on the handle. This other hand's like holding, but it can only do so much, you know what I mean? So again, but that's just walking up. Let's just do 7 shots and see what happens. We're at 25 yards. I'm most likely not using a pistol like this at 25 yards realistically, but it's just a good confidence builder. Okay, if I was at 25 yards, can I still get 7 shots on target? These 2 are kind of crap, but a grazing hit is better than no hit. But again, we can put 5 of 7 in the in that A zone, if you want to call that one on the line in the A zone, but you get what I'm saying. You know what I mean? So now we can kind of go into a closer range drill and just work some draws and things like that. All right, so here we are. There is no practice runs. I'm going to give you the honest to God's truth of where we're at, right? And I just know it's going to be shit because it's a small pistol. It's not the, you know, we're not probably getting sub-second draws and, you know, keyhole engagements here. So for this drill, I'm going to be shooting at 7 yards. Is 7 yards maybe a little bit far again for a pistol like this? Possibly, but then the balance of that is, can I get my pistol out on target fast enough if I'm closer than 7 yards with this type of, well, non-holster, but you know what I mean? So again, based on my ability to draw fast and how I get accurate targets, I can start to figure out, or accurate shots on target, I can figure out what that balance is of the threshold of where my distance and spacing needs to be for me to actually get my pistol out and get accurate shots on target in time. So being 1 or 2 steps off that target is probably not realistic. As I'm trying to get my pistol out, I'm probably going to get stabbed or something if it was real conflict. So I'm going to give myself a little bit more space. We'll see what the time is. And then based on that, I can then, for further on training, adjust where I'm at. But here's just an honest assessment. I haven't done this drill with this little pistol in God knows how long. So let's just see where we're at. So just an old buzz. I'll draw, engage, we'll see where we're at.
All right, stand by.
Okay, so shots accurate. It was this one. This is the fresh one. The other ones are painted, but they're, so that's the fresh one. So it's a good shot, you know what I mean? But what's the time?
2:18.
2:18, right? So let me reposition my stuff. All right, we'll try it again.
All right, stand by.
Hold it just a little bit. It's in the B.
176.
176. So it's touching the line from A to B. It's a little bit low right, so I'm probably jerk the trigger. Again, it's that really long trigger squeeze. Okay, so we'll reset.
Stand by.
Okay, that shot's good in the A, but what's our time?
197.
197. Okay.
Stand by.
Okay, cool. So I walk out onto the range and here I am. If I rep this for 30 minutes, if I just went through and actually practice this, you know what I mean? As much as I do with my full-size pistols, Do you think I could get this down to a second, maybe just over a second, possibly sub-second, right? Once we start working it, but the thing is we neglect this small pistol. You know what I mean? When the reality is we should be putting more time and energy into our smallest pistols if these are the ones that we're actually carrying, because these are the ones that we're going to be using to save our life, right? We have our one set up like I'm going to war, right? But the reality is you're probably going to get caught in town, right? You're not picking the time, you're not picking the place where the attack happens, you're unprepared mentally because you're not expecting to get into a fight. So this is the time where you need to be the most proficient with your tools at hand at that time. You know what I mean? So again, it's imperative that we start working some of our concealed carry equipment with just as much attention and just as much what's some word I'm looking for, maybe priority, right, as we do our full-size weapon systems. So again, you know, I like to come out every now and then and continue to work with it. I work a lot with my P365, which is more of my everyday carry. But again, as we're just coming off the tail end of summer, you know, I've found that I've been carrying this pistol a lot because it's been so hot based on the clothes that I've been wearing. So it's just one of those things where I started thinking again, like, Rich, hey man, when was the last time you ran some reps with your LCP? Like, let's get after it. Let's train with that thing. So that way we can be realistically prepared, but also let me understand what my distance is. So if I have a 2-second draw, a 2.5-second draw, that's why I was considering being about 7 yards away, right? Because how long does it take someone to charge me from 7 yards? Maybe because I can always back up, right, and give myself more time or cut angles. But with that being said, realistically, if I'm closer than 7 yards, do I want to try to do a dynamic draw versus like a, oh man, just kind of do like a sneaky draw and they don't see me draw? But to do a dynamic draw, if he's faced up targeting me, right, do I think I can really do it? So within 7 yards, I probably wouldn't do it. I need space, right? But it's nice to know that if I'm at 7 yards, I can get accurate shots on target, no problem.